Hi everyone, it's John Cash Philippi with G&L Voice, and I'm here with Zach Miles, who is the Associate Vice President of Economic Development for uh well for Blackfire Innovation, and we're going to talk a lot about that. First, let's get into a quick word from our sponsor. Which is Hotel Genie. Discover Hotel Genie and elevate your hotel's guest experience by harnessing cutting edge communication technology. Whether you're aiming to cut costs or boost revenue, Hotel Genie equips you with the tools outside to outshine your rivals. Connect with Russ now at 702-820-1400 to experience a tailored no-cost demo designed exclusively for hotels and casinos. And with that being said and read, and Hotel Genie's a great bunch of people over there. I love Russ, so if you get a chance to see him at the shows, definitely reach out. Zach, let's get to you though. This is exciting. We've been wanting to get you on here because you do something unique to the industry, and so I don't try to talk through it. I'll let you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and you know, uh, basically what you do for Blackfire Innovation.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on, John. And I look forward to talking about it because it is exciting. I have one of the more enjoyable jobs, I think, across the planet. So happy to talk about it. So, as Zach Miles, I serve as the Senior Associate Vice President for Economic Development at Blackfire. And my role is primarily a push and a pull function. And so we're really trying to take new ideas and support them in turning into life-changing products and services in the industry to make our lives better. If there's some type of impact and it improves your life, like I've done a fantastic job. And it's so fun to kind of watch that from someone saying, I've got a great idea to actually seeing some type of product on the shelf is amazing. The other part of my job is engaging with industry and trying to pull them closer to UNLV. And what I mean by that is the university has a lot of different assets and resources that may benefit industry. And so we try to ask what their needs are and then meet those with programs or services that we have. So it could be lab space, it could be workforce through our students, it could be real world opportunities at Blackfire and our hospitality lab space to test some innovations. It could be locating into Southern Nevada or expanding at our tech park where Blackfire is located at. So we have this great opportunity to maximize those resources in helping our community and our neighbors. So it's fun. I enjoy what I do.
So that's great, Zach. Let me ask you a quick question about you kind of went into it a little bit too much about what Blackfire Innovation is, but really kind of what's the history of Blackfire Innovation? I mean, really, where did it come from? I mean, I all of a sudden started hearing about it, and I'm like, okay, it's at UNLV. There's a lab that's for us, and I don't even know where it popped out of.
That's that's a great question. And it's probably a little longer answer, but I'll try to rush through the history a little bit and really talk about what it does. This actually originated at the University of Utah, ironically. I served time there as one of the professionals that worked in the University of Utah's Office of Economic Development, and it was ranked at some point in time as the number one office in the country. I think it was in 2017, but it was in a tech park and had some space, some incubation and lab space that was there similar to Blackfire to help more biomedical type companies. And so UNLV came calling, and as part of the interview process, I had suggested that we should probably use the tech park to stand up some type of a facility that could help the hospitality industry. So when I arrived, it was two people at the Office of Economic Development. It was myself and Donna Morrell. And we started to frame this a little bit more. And we had a brainstorming session on what to name it. And Donna said, we should name it Blackfire Innovation. And I said, why Blackfire? And she said, well, that's the state stone is the Blackfire opal. So the name of Blackfire Innovation came from Donna Morell, who named it after the stone. And a quick side note, you'll see throughout the building in the carpeting different colors, and it represents, if you're looking down into a Blackfire opal, there's lots of shards or rays of light that come out of it. So from that initial conception, we said, well, what should we be doing here? And so talked with Bo Bernhardt and Robert Rippey and some of the industry players and tried to refine this idea and said, you know what is really occurring is we need to establish a place where we can research, we can test, we can deploy the hospitality innovations of the future, the hospitality, gaming, and entertainment innovations of the future. So we worked initially with an EDA grant that we didn't receive, and then started to engage with Caesars Entertainment and said, I've got this great idea. I think we can bring some resources. If you can bring some resources, that ended up with us presenting in mid 2018, a proposal to the Nevada System of Higher Education and said, if we can take a floor of a new building at our tech park, and we've engaged Caesars Entertainment, we would love for you to give us some resources to be able to build out this facility, because we think we could not only continue to innovate hospitality, but the innovations that come out could have kind of a dual purpose. So think like robotics and how that could be applied to hospitality, but also it's a new industry or could be a diverse industry. And so they gave us the thumbs up. It was all of about 25 seconds of conversation, and they voted yes. So we built the facility in 2019, and then we opened it early 2020, and then guess what hit? Obviously, COVID came wandering around. So
Ouch.
we're almost like the best kept secret, because for the next 2 years, although it was here and it was built, and we had fantastic strategic partners that were here, there wasn't a heck of a lot of activity. So to your point of, you've heard a lot about it, but maybe there hasn't been as much activity. We started and shut down pretty quick. And so now we're re-engaging and reinvigorating the space.
That's excellent. You mentioned Robert Rippey. I just moderated a thing with him on robotics, and I mean, it was a really good talk, actually.
Yeah.
So we had a great time doing that meeting for everyone. It was a blast, quite a success. So that being said, I mean, Robert's one. I think he's head in charge of the
Uh-huh.
robotics division.
Yeah,
Um,
Robert's in charge of some of our incubation and the Blackfire facilities here. So he's taken on that direct role to make sure that that's functioning appropriately.
oh, perfect. Now, what other divisions do you have throughout all of Blackfire?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Blackfire's a program and a space within kind of an umbrella organization called the UNLV Office of Economic Development, and we stood that up as an organization and started in 2013, but an organization that included all of the offices and programs and services. There would be a single point of contact with industry and with our constituents internally and the venture capital groups and everybody out there, that we didn't have bits and pieces and people getting confused as where to go. So our office consists of technology transfer, licensing, and protecting new ideas that are owned or that we have a right to at UNLV. UNLV Small Business Development Center, which is which helps small businesses out, and we're part of a larger small business development center that's run out of the University of Nevada, Reno. So we have good contacts there. So no cost service to small businesses. We started the UNLV Sports Research and Innovation Initiative, now the UNLV Sports Innovation Institute, that's under us to help on sports tech. We have an industry engagement arm. We run the UNLV Research Foundation, which controls the tech park, so we can build buildings and lab space and offices and welcome relocating and expanding businesses. We have a very active intern program to give them real world experiences or give them a flavor of what it's like to be in this particular world. We have a project with the Economic Development Agency to work with the West Side to be able to provide some small business development support. So those are a flavor of the main organizations that are within the UNLV Office of Economic Development. That is what it's intended to try to do is drive ideas all the way through, kind of filling all the gaps, all of the pieces, hitting all the milestones to be able to have really mutually beneficial collaboration with industry. And one that I almost forgot, Rebel Forge. So we apply all of these programs and services to our students through Rebel Forge. So let's think of it as a student economic development office.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, you
Yeah.
said you had even interns out there studying hospitality management or
Yeah. Hospitality, law, engineering, like they come from all sorts of different areas. We have students that are providing counseling services for small businesses to other students. So it's almost one of those unique applied learning situations for the interns. Like, oh, I really want to get into to corporate work or businesses or small businesses, or I love intellectual property or figuring out license and contracts. So students come from all over that want to be part of this really cool Blackfire innovation ecosystem that's here and all the other facets that are associated with it. It's fun to see them engage and really start to shape the future. They don't have the same mindset, right? We get stuck a little bit as to what we're doing during the day, and it's probably not a day that goes by that a student doesn't say, "Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that?" And like, "Oh my gosh, that's a fantastic idea!" So they keep everyone invigorated.
yeah, so you're the cool kids on campus, right?
100%. We are the cool kids, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
Well, okay, so how does the you said Caesars was involved with it. So how's the funding work for Blackfire? I mean, I know you said something about getting donations and all that, but what keeps it going?
Yeah, that's a great question. We had some really good partners and collaborators. So Caesars had come in and helped out. They helped to manage the space and provide some resources. We leveraged their connections as well as our own. So there's a laundry list of corporate partners, Panasonic and LG and Intel, that engaged with us, that provided some in kind or some donations or otherwise to provide some of the support mechanisms. We run research and development projects out here. We actually lease some space to corporations and small businesses. The university is a huge player because they know how important this facility is. So they provide us in our budget additional resources to keep this going. But at some point in time, we're very interested in it becoming very, an evergreen organization. That'll come through licensing those technologies and receiving revenues, increased research and development, increased donations, increased collaborations. And the facility has been an anchor to the rest of the tech park. So there's so many different organizations that come and want to be close to Blackfire that if we start to build other buildings and lease land, there'll be some other revenue that comes in. So it really comes from a myriad of different sources that support this, and the impacts go beyond even the monetary returns that we receive. I mean, seeing a student who's able to work on a cool project and find a job in industry and tell their story, even if it's just one of them, like we've done our job. Or to see a cool technology change someone's life, we've done our job. If we see one of these huge companies or even small businesses enter into the economy here and be able to provide diversification and availability to all of our diverse citizens to have different jobs or go into different fields, or that's what they studied so they don't have to leave Nevada. We've done our job. So it's fun to see those impacts that occur.
I know I would kind of kill for one of your students to come work for me once in a while. I think we should probably start using you as our farm team.
Sweet.
You know?
I'm excited about that. We have the best students, and maybe I shouldn't say that one, but we have some really fantastic students that would have no problem sending them over. No, they do a great job.
That's awesome. Well, okay, so I guess my question, and this is the hardest part for me to understand because you are technology, you're a lab in a sense, basically. And no, actually, you are a lab,
Yeah.
and you work for hospitality. How does that get into our hands as the operators? How does the tech and the innovations that you create end up over here?
Yeah. No, another fantastic question. And a lot of it comes from engaging with industry. We're able to go and ask the question, what would you actually like to see on the floor? What would you like to see in the industry? What would you like to see change? And many times the industry is not able to take a hotel room out of service. It's not able to take floor space out of service. You've got a million things coming at you during the day that innovation may not be the top priority. It's what fire am I putting out?
Mhm.
So we're able to take those from the nation stage and say, industry would buy this particular product or service or use it. And we need to fill the gap from that idea to actually offering something that they can purchase from a startup company, something that they can bring internally, something that they can work with an existing company. We do a lot of new games. So, purchasing games from one of the gaming manufacturers. And so, Blackfire Innovations program in the space takes those ideas, says, are they commercially viable? Yeah, they seem really commercially viable. Perfect. We've got some money and some space to be able to test that out. Let's use the lab space at Blackfire and start to mock up one of the innovations. Then we bring in industry again and we say, does this look like what it should be? Is this something that we can utilize? Yes. Could you modify it a little bit this way? And so we bring in additional resources, or one of those partners might then engage with us and say, fantastic, we would love to help move this forward and see where it goes. We have students that are learning about that particular technology, so they become the experts that go along with the technology. We have these innovation high tech partners too. Again, mentioned like LG and Panasonic and Intel and those types of folks that are here, that if it doesn't, if they could take some of these technologies and offer it. And so what we do is we bridge that gap between, I would love to see this, but I don't either have the resources or time. And the university can work on that and actually present a viable opportunity to solve that problem. And so we fill that gap. And that's the intent with kind of the overall office, is what resources are there that we don't get stuck. So many times think in your life, and of a great idea that you've had, and there's always something that's standing in your way from getting it to something cool. It's time. Maybe you think you don't have the intelligence. It's money. It's, I don't know if this is actually viable or not. So we try to have some type of program, service, or resource to be able to answer those questions, provide those services so that it doesn't get stuck. So it actually turns into something. Or, and this is a little bit of the flip side, that we can actually identify those that are not going to move forward. And so we can not waste time or money on ideas that are not going to make it into the market, and be able to test those as well. So that's hopefully helps to answer the question a little bit of where we try to bridge that gap. We are the innovators, we are the workforce development, we're the researchers, and we want to be that early stage and then hand it off to our corporate collaborators.
And that's actually great because when you look at a vendor who sells us a product, as an operator, I deal with this all the time. A vendor will sell me a product, and that product has been designed for the vendor's sake, for the vendor's profit, for the vendor's everything. I guess would it be fair to say Blackfire Innovation is discovery for discovery's sake?
I love that. I think that is perfect. And I would add maybe one piece to it. It's discovery for discovery's sake that has been honed down to solve a potential industry problem.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. I mean, what you guys are giving to the industry, no one else is doing, and it's I know I appreciate. I know that several people appreciate, it, and as you really start rolling out things, it's going to help us. My talk with Robert, he was discussing just getting robots that change sheets in hotel rooms, and how you all approached it as a heavy machinery type of thing for robots, and then
Right.
reducing size. So I thought that was kind of unique.
It is, and it's so funny you mentioned sheets too. So I'll give you another one that's currently working at Blackfire. So during this great shutdown time that we had, we had we had Eureka, specifically, Greg Lee and family put the Lee Prize together. It's like $1 million. It didn't have to be from Nevada, but it was trying to look at innovations and drive those forward that would help the industry come back sooner. And the prize winner was Purelin, which they produce a sheet that is made out of plastic. And like, why would you produce a sheet that's made out of plastic? There's no benefit to that. Well, this sheet is basically a one-time use sheet. It feels just like a cotton sheet, but when you take it off, instead of washing it with water, you melt it down and you turn it into plastic beads that's then turned into a fine twine, for lack of a better term, and made into another sheet. And the idea behind that was, well, if you're melting something down, you actually do kill most of the viruses, if not all of them. You also have the comfort of someone coming in and saying, oh, maybe that this is a one-time use sheet. And there's also some sustainability pieces with that. If you're not using water, basically a limited amount of water, you're saving that for other sources. And so you're able to conserve and have pieces there. Well, showing up at a resort and saying, I've got a new sheet for you, just put it on the bed and you're ready to go. You can imagine some of the responses of, well, have you tested it out? How are we going to scale this? So Blackfire ends up being that literally accelerator, incubator, living lab. And we've got the sheets on a bed that's being tested out. We're doing some market validations. People are coming in and providing their input. And so we provide that go between to be able to test that out and move it forward. Which, it's still in prototype and still moving forward. It hasn't been adopted yet, but it is one of those technologies that's here in this facility, and this facility is serving its purpose for that particular company and technology to try to test it out for the industry before it gets there.
That's amazing. That's a game changer right there, just in that one small innovation you're working in. And I know that you guys have been doing so many other things. Well, we are closing in on the end of the show. So can you do me a favor, just sum up Blackfire, spend a minute just summing up Blackfire innovation and and the benefits that you're creating for the hospitality industry.
So Blackfire is a living hospitality lab and associated programs to bridge the gap between idea and commercially viable product for the gaming, hospitality, and entertainment industry, gaming and leisure industry. And we are a proud collaborator with the rest of the community to help maybe be a cog in that innovation cycle and provide those resources to help move ideas, drive them forward so that they're not lost, so that they're not stagnant, so we don't miss the opportunities. We want to be that resources that moves that forward.
That's fantastic. Well, Zach, it's been great having you on the show. We've been talking with Zach Miles from Blackfire Innovation. I won't try to say your title again because I know I'll mess it up. But my name is John Cash Philippi, and you've been listening to Gaming and Leisure Voice Podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Okay.
go Rebels.